And we're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have another fantastic episode today here at Appropriate Culture. I got a very special guest, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a bio before we get going. An ambitious artist known for producing high-energy anthems that can compete with anyone, award-winning DJ and producer Semio has been thrilling audiences around the world almost a decade. He has proven to be the rare EDM artist capable of breaking into the pop world with hit songs that transcend genres and cultures. Now, as he enters a new phase of his career, Semio's high-octane music is set to reach a larger audience than ever before. Semio's versatility as a producer can be traced back to his early days, where he was part of Tel Aviv's burgeoning rock scene as a teenager. He spent his formative years absorbing everything from hard rock and metal to radio-friendly pop, giving him the genre-defiant sound that would come to define his career. Eventually, he found his true calling in EDM and enrolled in a DJ course at BPM College, setting him on a track to play the biggest stages in Israel. In 2014, he moved to Seattle, Washington to begin a new phase of his career. Success came quickly as he signed with KD Records only 1 year after his first single came out. Riding a wave of momentum, he relocated to Los Angeles, where he has since become a mainstay of the city's legendary party scene. Now, with an increasingly busy performance schedule and new music expected in 2021 and beyond, Semio is poised to leave a lasting legacy on the electronic music world. God damn, how the fuck are you, dude?
My man, thank you for the introduction. Thank you. I'm doing good. Yeah. Thank you for having me. And
cheers.
Yeah, man, I'm just excited.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Shoot, so for the people who don't know, like I was telling you earlier, this is the first time we're doing like an all music artist. We're vibing today. So this might be one of my favorite episodes to do because, as you know, as other people know, my favorite part of life is making music, performing, featuring, collaborating. I mean, all that it just doesn't get better than that, in my opinion. So, without further ado, what I would like to say is, as a little preset on the scenery here, I know you from like what, 6 years ago?
Yeah, around that, about 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
And that was because you won a remix competition.
That's right, yeah.
For our song.
That's right, yeah.
When I was part of a duo. And so, how I guess before I even met you, when you had decided to be a part of that, like, were you doing other remix contests, or was that like your first one?
No, that actually is so funny because this was my first remix that I did. And I just went to this website called remixcompetition.com, I think. And then I just listened to a bunch of songs, and your song was one of that I liked.
Okay.
So I thought maybe I can do something with it because it's creative enough for me, because it looks like I can do something, which will sound close to it, but slightly different. And I took the shot and I downloaded the stems, all the audio files that you provided, and just played with it. And I submitted it, I think even like very close to the deadline.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, but I think, yeah, I just submitted the song and waited for the results.
I remember listening to it when I was going through all the different entries. And I remember when I got to yours, I do remember listening to it. And I remember that there was like a rawness to it. It was like, but like good. But no, I'm serious though. Yeah. No, like meaning like, because that's like what, when you first started producing?
Yeah, this was like my second year of producing music.
Second year producing, right? So that was my, like, I hadn't really even been, that was like my first year getting into it. And so because I was at that same place. That's why I was like, okay, this is like, I could tell that like you had like a nice idea behind like the background on like what you were like trying to like put together. I was like, he's going for some club like revamp.
Yeah, there is like influence. There is like influence of dance culture or something like that, which is somehow was expressed with this kind of music. Yeah, absolutely.
So since then, how did things play out for you? Like what happened?
Man, that completely changed the game for me, because this remix led for a connection with the record label who was involved, who released the original song.
Yeah.
And this label accepted another demo from me, and then it led to another release and another song coming out, which gave me more presence in the industry and getting the feedback of like actually doing the thing and getting the results and having my own music out. So it gave me like a boost to the whole thing, which started like these years. Yeah, it was very beneficial for me, super beneficial. And yeah, man, it was like very pleasure to do it, and it helped me a lot.
So, okay, so this is interesting because right now you and I are both. Well, so would you consider yourself an independent artist?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So right now you're not with a label.
No, I have a manager who is helping me with shows.
Okay.
But besides that, I'm doing my own thing by myself. Yeah.
Okay, so that's independent. Yeah, independent. So being that we're both independent artists, looking back at when you were with the label, was there anything that they did for you that you are not doing for yourself right now?
Basically not. No, because right now, I'm doing basically everything by myself.
Yeah.
Plus, because, I mean, it's not plus, but it's more of being aware of what the industry can offer you, like what kind of services you can hire people and get the stuff done.
Yeah.
So you don't need an actual organization to do it for you. You can find the connections and do it by yourself individually, like outsource each gig. And that helped me a lot. And I think it's even better to do it by yourself because you know how much effort you put into it, and there are no like hidden information that is stuff that is hidden from you, because you know what you did. If you paid like certain amount of money for artwork, you know the quality that you are getting. It's not that you're expecting for somebody to decide which cover art will go for your song. So
exactly,
I think it's better, but it's possible to do it by yourself.
I mean, honestly, as I've now you talk about cover art
as an example,
here. So it's funny because when I read on the bio, they said KD Records, and I thought it was like a different label, but I guess it was the same label that we were signed to. So KND. Yeah. So when we signed with them, we thought it was like super dope, right? Just like you, right?
Yeah, of course.
And we're like dope, and they wanted to get us with a 5-year contract, and I was the one that was like, nah, we're gonna have to do less. And we whittled it down to 3. 3-year contract where all the songs we're going to put out, we're going to come out under them. And we're like, dope. This should speed things up. This should, kickstart our careers a little bit.
Yeah.
Start the process and sent out the first set of tracks, which were going to be an EP. And received the first cover art back. Dude, when I tell you that thing looked like a 6-year-old's finger painting. Yeah. It was fucking, I mean, it was actually, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was like insulted. I was like, are you fucking serious right now? This is what you guys send us back?
Yeah.
After you get 6 tracks that are fucking done and set with a whole theme behind it, you want to, this is what you guys do? We were like fucking insulted.
Yeah. Easily.
And so, long story short, Duo ended. That deal with them finished off. Everybody just sort of went their own way. Fast forward to now, and you look at my cover arts.
You see that there is a lot of things involved into it to make it happen.
Dude.
It looks professional. It looks good.
My cover art's like I gotta say definitely best. Probably best in the game right now when it comes to the cover arts.
Easily. It's on the top of the game. It's competing with other artists, other professional artists.
Exactly where it needs to be, and I'm doing it 100% on my own. Essentially, with the takes work, but it's something that's not impossible. And when I look at that, and there was a team behind that, and I'm like, guys, what are you doing with your fucking time? And so my question goes back to, now I see this revolution of sort of, let's just call it revolution, but it's probably a little bit intense, but a wave of artists realizing they don't really need the label. At what point did you realize you didn't need a label?
Wow. Honestly, I will tell you that I still think that it depends. It still depends if you want to have a label, assigned to a label or not for each track. I still think that way, but the point that when I realized that was not too long ago, about a year ago, that because of the label that I worked with. So the guy is a friend of mine. So he showed me a lot of stuff, how he does them. And also I learned that eventually you want to create a direct connection with your fans. You don't want to have somebody in between. Mm-hmm. You don't want that. You don't need that. You want to create it directly to them. So when I understood that, I tried to find ways like to implement it, like this approach, how to make it as much as direct as possible.
Yeah.
Me and my fans, that's it. Not anybody in between. So then once you have this approach, you can go and do it with other stuff once you have this mindset built in. So basically not a long time ago, about a year ago.
About a year ago. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, would you say that it is worth it if it's a huge label? So like, let's just say,
Spinning Records.
Let's just say Spinning Records hits you up and they're like, "Hey, Simeon, we wanna sign your track."
Yeah, basically, like I said,
you would take it.
It depends. Depends what is the contract with the label. If it's a couple of years, you need to sign with them for like long term. I will not do that. But it depends because some of the labels they really invest into your songs.
Right.
They put like a visuals behind it. They even when the big artists come to your city, they call you for like warming up other DJs. So you get the connections, you get more involved. This is one of the reasons why you can take it as advantage to sign to a record label. But still, it depends. It really depends.
It
depends.
I would still say no, and here's why. Because yes, you might get that quick upfront money right there on the spot. Sure. What you're trading here is 1, royalties. 2, freedom, creative freedom. And then 3, you're just essentially you're allowing other people to direct where your career is going to steer. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But here's where I'm coming from. I didn't get into this because of the money. The money is a good part, as like it's a good goal to like, okay, this is a good direction. Like if you keep going up, you keep getting paid better. Yeah. It's not a bad life. Nobody's mad. My point is getting into something because of the love of the art. And so when I first got in on it, it was a lot of it sure overshadowed by like it's the cool, it's a cool thing to be a DJ or whatever. But then right when I got in, I found out I was like, yeah, sure, it's cool. But I was like, the art part, like the musical part, the music theory, dancing, the filming, the photography, all of that. I was like, all of the aspects of the artistry is dope as fuck. And I was like, because I love it so much, I actually want to learn all of the different facets to a certain extent so I can then really understand how they all come together. And so, in my opinion, I'm like, yo, don't cut the corners. Just put in the fucking time. Because what often happens is, a person will get that sweet deal that we're talking about, right? Let's just say a label thinks that they're an up-and-comer. And there's a lot of situations that labels essentially will go after, like, let's just say 10 up-and-comers, so to speak, hoping that one of those hits the jackpot, because they know percentage-wise 9 out of those 10 are going to be a flop. And so bottom line is, if you're the artist that comes in and you're the 90% that's a flop, and you, well, one, you're probably going to end up owing money to the label. People don't talk about that shit. That happens a lot to the artists who flop.
Absolutely,
they end up owning money to the label. But long story short, learn the craft, because eventually you're going to get the money. You're going to get the resources. And when you do, you can direct all your things. You can direct your music videos. You can direct your cover art. You can fucking direct your managing, your marketing team. All of that is yours with your name on it. Harder? Yes. Worth it? Yes. And so do you feel like, because right now we've even been talking recently, and I see like you building out your studio, and like you've invested like a fuck ton of like effort and resources, and your studio is sick. Your studio is like on point.
Thank you, man.
Are you like, how far are you gonna keep building this out? Like, are you gonna have like your own like arena where you're just gonna practice live shows, like huge warehouses, and like,
yeah,
where are we going with this?
Basically, I mean, I don't see any limitation, but I see a direction where I want to go, which is I do want to have a studio for sure, but to minimize the amount of equipment, to make it simple and more, not like very plain. Everything will be like super white. Everything will be super simple, because I don't want to have any distractions, and all these lights lighting up and all these colors in the studio that I have now, it's distracting eventually.
Sure.
And you only want to have something like more simple, but still the equipment will be really good at a good quality.
Yeah.
But
you're gonna have some lights though.
Yeah, you do need. And this is like the creation section of the studio, where where I'm gonna make the music. And of course I want to have like a area where I'm gonna prepare all my DJ sets, to prepare live. So yeah, that area will be slightly different, but eventually everything will be under the same place. So it's gonna be one place where I'm gonna practice my music and also make my music. So everything in one place. Yeah. So this is the closest vision that I see for my studio. Like, this is what I want to make.
I mean, at this point, it's like, I would wager you probably spend more time in the studio than even like in your fucking, where you live. Man,
yeah, absolutely. I spend all the time in the studio. It's not only about being there. You also need to be productive. So it's need to be minimized to the amount of hours you need to be in the studio. You don't need to spend a lot of hours in the studio. You need to be like short amount of time, but very productive.
So let's dive into that for a second, because a lot of people don't understand how fucking wild hours producers like do most of the time. Not all, I can't speak for all, but I can tell from my experience, including myself, definitely myself, that like the hours that we put in, most people would be like, are you fucking stupid? Like, what are you doing in your life? Like, you should be getting sleep right now. And so I was telling you before, like for the last 2-3 weeks, I've been sleeping on like 2-hour increments.
Yeah.
And not even because like I'm putting an alarm, but just because that's just how my body has been operating. Wake up at 3 a.m., go right back to producing.
Yep.
And then I'd be talking to you. I would see you at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be like, oh yeah, dude, you just wake up. And I'm like, nah, I've been up all night making music. Now I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, we sleep in short periods of time. We sleep for 3-4 hours, which is enough for our body to rest.
Yeah.
We work for a while. We lose our focus. We don't spend like the rest of it. We just go to sleep. We take the rest. We enjoy the rest, and then we go back to work. I'm doing it only 1 month. I think it will work. It's still working. I see my checklist. I'm productive. I'm doing all the stuff that is needed, and I'm still feeling okay. I'm not feeling too bad. let's see how long it can last. I don't know, but hopefully it will.
Are you referring to like the sleep pattern?
Yeah, I'm sleeping
like
3 hours, 4 hours. That's it. Like
Okay.
not more than that. I wake up by myself even before the alarm clock. So
yeah, so it's not even like you're trying to do it.
yeah,
on purpose.
I'm not putting
Yeah.
force. I'm not trying to wake up. I'm just awake. So I'm just going directly to the stuff that is need to be done. That's it. Yeah.
Do you just like fall asleep in the studio and just
Yeah, man. Sometimes it happens to me. It's just crazy. Yeah, it happened to me yesterday, man. I was just doing my journal thing. I'm writing down every day stuff that is on my mind. And yesterday I just finished writing and I was so impressed of how the day went. I just fell asleep. That's it. And I enjoyed the sleep and I woke up very energetic.
Yeah,
So it's important to take a break sometimes. And I mean, every time that you're feeling really tired, you need to rest. You cannot push it too much.
yeah.
You cannot. It's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I mean, I don't know if you can agree, but like, I mean, it's a real thing when you get like ear fatigue,
Yeah.
and it's weird because like you can hear, like you're listening to what you're making, but it's like not really registering in your brain, and you're almost getting more annoyed every time you hear it as opposed to like inspired. And so it's like this bad loop, and you just at one point you kind of take a step back, and your head is just like ringing,
Yep.
and you're like, dude, you need to just not be in the front of the computer, listen to the same sounds over and over and over again.
Yes.
And so, in regards to like music production, because I think it's important we differentiate these things. Because I talk to a lot of people that are not aware, they love music, but they don't know how music is really made. They assume that DJs is the same thing as a producer, and producers the same thing as a DJ. Two completely different things.
Absolutely.
Two completely different worlds. Sure, there's some similarities that overlap, but as far as like skill wise and like what you have to learn and do, this is two completely different worlds.
Two different worlds. Yep.
Just because you're a DJ does not mean you can produce. Just because you can produce does not mean you can DJ. That being said, when did you start to like really find like your sound?
Basically, it took a while till I developed my sound, because sound, basically, just to describe it easily, what I think it is the sound that you love in other songs, which you want to use in your own way.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to understand what I love. I knew what I loved, but I never knew exactly how it not made, but what are the nature of it, like what are the sounds, like what kind of sound I need. I love the song, but from what it made, what is made from.
Sure.
To understand all the components, it took a while, but to understand that I need to make my own music, it took me really fast. Once I started DJing, I understood very fast that I will need to make my own music.
Yeah.
It took like really fast, like maybe a year into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Not
because
longer.
Isn't that weird though? How like at first you think you can come in and just DJ and like fucking blow up, and like in some rare cases, some people have done that, but then quickly when they blew up as the DJ with the dope mix, right after that, people realize that like you're just the DJ with the dope mix.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so like you just keep being that person, and then you get tagged as that DJ. That's if you blow up.
Yeah.
That's if you blow up.
Yeah.
If you blow up. And so you quickly realize you're like, DJing is dope. It's fun. I love DJing, all the cuts, everybody's music. It's super entertaining. It's a good time. But as far as like longevity of career, and you actually want to become a fucking artist, like I was just telling you the other day, I had to cross the road recently where all the music that I download and get that's not mine, that I make, is for pure entertainment for me, because I never get to play it live anymore, because I'm shifting to only wanting to play original.
Yeah.
Because I want to be seen for my original music and not for me playing somebody else's shit.
Absolutely.
But it is fun. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's too many dope cuts out there for you not to want to DJ all the different genres, because you can only make so many songs. Do you find yourself wanting to break into like the original artist category, or do you want to sort of keep going back and forth between DJing, anything that you feel like, or just really sticking with original music?
So basically, I'm coming from the point of a DJ. So for me, it's like to entertain the crowd.
Yeah.
So of course, it'll be great to play my own. I mean, as much as possible, my own kind of show. But it's okay to involve other artists and to have other artists in my show, which can be done by combining two different songs or just doing a mashup, something with my song that I made and then vocal or instrumental from another song, and combining it live. So it makes it like more unique to me. And I think if it's done properly, and I'm sure it can be done. So if somebody done it, I also can do it. So if you do it properly and people enjoy it, it's just win-win situation.
Yeah, 100%.
People enjoy it and you also enjoy it because you do something creative with stuff that you love, with music that you love from other artists.
But then we were talking about that, which is now more so than ever, tracks that are not 100% cleared get taken down. And so you could make this dope remix, or you could put this mashup together and it could very well get taken down, because if it's not the official one, they can do it.
Absolutely.
And so do you feel like, how do you see the music industry sort of developing? Because I've seen a few things going back to what we were talking about like independent artists finding out that they don't really need labels. Well, I see the industry shifting in a way where music is a lot more way available to anybody at this point. You can pretty much get it anywhere you want, as easily as you want in some cases. And so things are changing rapidly. SoundCloud at one point was popping. Spotify comes out of nowhere. Now that's popping. I mean, things are just happening. What do you think is going to happen moving forward as far as how people intake music, how shows have? Do you see anything differently like playing out moving forward?
Yeah, I will tell you exactly. What I see is unstable platform right now, very unstable, but you can put your footprint onto it. Like
which one?
Like the whole industry is unstable right now.
It's unstable.
It's unstable. So it allows you to find different places where you can build something by yourself. It's like there is no stable platform that everybody builds on top of that. I think if you are a creative person and you are practicing your creativity, you can find like an angle which you will take and you can go and grow there. So the industry might be maybe not stable enough and it's always changing, but it's good. It's good because you have more opportunities. And if you're ready, you will just catch one of them and go from there. Yeah. And if you'll do it enough times, keep falling and going back on another place, eventually something will work. So basically, I see it always changing. The industry always changes. It's never stable. It's like always changing. This is the way I see it. I don't think it will be stable because it's just not natural.
Sure.
It cannot be stable.
Yeah, I mean, especially now that we're like in the internet age where everything is just so fast.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, shit. At this point, now the hot one is TikTok.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't know about you, but it gets pretty overwhelming. Like if you don't have like a team of people, which most artists don't have a team of people doing their social media, it gets pretty overwhelming. You posting just on even like 4 platforms and trying to grow that at the same time. Like it's almost just like it's a job of its own. And so things like TikTok, for example, I didn't want to get on it, but I just kept hearing people are blowing up on TikTok alone when it comes to music. Like any one of your songs blows up on TikTok, that alone can set you up. No joke.
Absolutely.
No joke.
Absolutely.
And apparently, whenever it blows up on TikTok, it actually transfers through on your actual account that you're trying to promote. Like if it's your Spotify, like you actually see the followers.
You see the results,
transfer over, as opposed to a lot of the other ones where like it's pretty much what I experienced, which is Instagram, Facebook, like, yeah, you might get some of them to transfer over, but it's like
A few people.
it's not that much. Do you feel like there's too many to pick from? Like, do you feel that like there's a problem there, like, or you fine like with being on all of them?
Yeah, I will tell you. Basically, every platform, like you see, some of them are more successful, some of them are a little bit less. But I think if you like, it's hard. It's hard to promote yourself on all of them. Some of them allows you a feature of syncing once you post on one of them, so it allows you to sync automatically on other ones. It's hard. It's not easy because you need to do it consistently. You need to do it with every song that you release. And in a professional artist case, you release every month.
Every month at least.
So you need to have couple, like you said, or to have a team if you can afford, which is hard as a beginner or as an, upcoming producer or an artist. It's hard to have a team. But if you need to do it by yourself, you need to set time aside and just do that. This is the thing that you are focusing and this is what you're doing. So yeah, it's hard, but it's important, I think, to post on all of them and just see which one grows.
And then focus on that one a little bit more.
Yeah, and then focus on it. Only after you like did the experiment, you found the one that is more like giving you the more results, and then put your money maybe into it. Go strategically.
Maybe like
see how it goes. Yeah.
Grow one and then push the traffic from that one to one other page, and then grow that one, push the traffic from that onto a different one.
Absolutely.
That way, that's manageable. And at the same time, I think that's the bottom line. It's manageable.
It's manageable. Absolutely.
You don't want to because what I've experienced is you try to do you're on 5 of these platforms and you feel like you got to post on all of them in each different way that's appropriate to theirs. So you're spending
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. You get good at posting. You get pretty quick at it, but it's fucking annoying.
It is. Yeah.
And at one point you're just tired of it. More than half the time, I don't even want to be online like that.
I know.
So do you feel like what do you feel like the biggest, most, let's just call it annoying struggles that you have to go through as an independent artist?
Exactly like you said, to make sure that you have appropriate post for each platform. It takes time because each platform has its own sizes of banners, of logos. You need to make sure that you have the right size because otherwise you cannot upload it. And you have, sometimes the website is not working or something and you don't know what is the problem. And eventually the problem is the size of your cover art is the problem. So it takes time and it's consuming a lot of energy because you don't do it that frequent. So you need to struggle every time that you do it. You don't do it every day. So you are already like an expert in it. You do it once a month. So sometimes you face very stupid problems, which for somebody or a professional one, can be very easy stuff to handle. For us, it takes time because we're musicians. We're investing our time in making music and we're solving enough problems in our music. So it is frustrating. The whole thing is frustrating. It's like, and every time we do it again and again and again.
It's like now that you're talking about it, like all these memories are coming back to me because I want to know your experience. But like on a personal level, dude, like when you decide to take on, like let's just say you start DJing. And you're like, okay, I'm pretty good. Like people are vibing to my shit, but I got to become a producer. And then you're like, okay, let's start producing. And you start to teach yourself. And then you're like, okay, I got this. And you step in on the fucking, and you're like, what in the fuck is going on here? Or you like your first week, you know what I mean? Like your first week, your first 2 weeks, and you're like, holy shit. Like your brain it's like if somebody opened up your head and then just pour just a liter of acid and then closed it back up. And you're like, what's going on? And then what's happening is you're for the first time ever, you are literally looking at something that's very intricate on a technical level, on a philosophical level. You're trying to understand music theory for the first time. You don't even know what fucking scales and notes are. I mean, you are literally walking in with nothing other than the fact that you've been DJing. And then when you get a slight grip on that, now you realize you got to be your own marketing team.
Man, it's crazy. Yeah?
It's fucking nuts, dude. And then at that point, you post your first stuff, you think you're hot shit, and then you realize, hey, guess what? You got to do this every day without skipping a beat, figuratively and literally.
Absolutely, man. It's a practice. It needs to be done every day, and you get better and better and better. Yeah. And if you are like true enough to yourself to admit that you don't know and you need to practice, you can continue, and you will do it again and again. But some of the people, I mean, most of the people, they give up. They just don't do
Straight
that.
up give up, yeah.
Yeah. And amount of problems that we are facing every day, I saw people who gave up because of like the smallest problem that I had, even yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw people giving up because of that. A friend of mine, he told me that his software is not working or something like that, and he's not making music for like a year. Man, it's a bit, it's not supposed to be like that. A year. I'm sure you had enough of opportunities like to find a solution for that, but zero time was invested into it. So yeah.
Well, it's like, I guess it's I'm not sure where I heard the saying, but it's pretty well known, where I guess it's a psychological game that we play with ourselves where you can't fail if you don't try.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so like, let's talk about that for a second, because I feel like everybody's always talking about their fucking wins and like how, when they fucking came out on top.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people in the music industry are talking about like, for every win that you get, you have like fucking 10 losses, more or less.
Yeah.
Like, like as far as like how hard you need to try to even get noticed in the beginning. And so, do you have like any like embarrassing stories that like you're just like, God damn it, dude? Like I've the fact that I didn't quit after this basically speaks volumes that like, if this didn't make me quit, I'm going there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I think if we really pay attention to it, we can feel it every single day, because every day we face a situation where we don't know how to handle it, and sometimes the result is not the exact result that we wanted, and it's easy to call it a failure, but it's not. It's just a result which is not to the level of expectation that you expected, but it is still a result. And if you are aware of that, I think you are okay. You can move forward, because then you don't see the result as failure. So you don't have an opportunity to give up. And we both know that giving up, this is the first rule. If you break this one,
you're done. Yeah.
I mean, you're probably doing something else.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do something else, you cannot break the first rule, which is to give up. And we both know you cannot do it.
It's not an option.
It's not an option. If you do it, so then everything is collapsed. So it's not an option. And if you're okay with that, yeah, you are good to go.
I love that you said that, because people try to make it so complicated. Like you said, like the guy that, the software.
Yeah.
And then so it basically gives you this runaround as to why he hasn't been producing for a year. I've had that happen when I'm DJing. So I'm DJing, throwing on a show. After I'm done playing, saying hi and kind of greeting people, and guy comes up. Oh, man, yeah, that was dope, man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I used to DJ, man. Yeah, back in the day, man. I was throwing it down. And I was like, word? So, I mean, why you still not throwing down now? He's like, young kid, and, the wife, and, And in my head, I'm thinking, no, I don't know. Like, if you want to DJ, you fucking DJ. It's really as simple as that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And when you do it as simple as what you said, which is giving up is just simply not an option.
No, it's not, yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand, like, it's not like some sort of like fucking, feel good, like, don't give up. It's like, no, giving up is not an option.
And this is the most important rule. It's like the first rule, I think.
Period.
Period. Once you break this one. Okay,
so go right here. And so, go ahead and break it down to us. Some of these, I mean, let's be honest, just straight up funny stories at this point when you look back at it. But let's see it.
So I had fun stories. I had also stories which allowed me to understand that I'm not at the right point yet. So I need to go and practice more. Yeah. And these are the most tragic ones, but still manageable. Something that you can overcome. it's not a big issue. It's maybe a big issue, but still you know that you can continue from there.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first one was in Israel. It was one of my first shows that I got booked actually. So I started working with a very well-known DJ in Israel, and he was involved in most of the parties in Israel in the central area in Tel Aviv. So he told me, man, I got your phone number and I heard that you're a really good DJ, so let's start working together. So the first gig that I got from him was a very nice gig. I played in a very cool place. The party was a really nice one. And he called me on the next day and told me, man, I want you to go to another place and play there. I was so excited that, man, I'm getting the second job from him.
Oh, yeah.
My career is like going up, man. That's it. I done it. So I went to the second place that he sent me, and I played. The music that I played was not, it was not for this place. It was completely for a different venue that I was imagining. Okay. I was thinking that I'm playing in a big place and I need to make everybody dancing. And the actual place that I was playing at, it was a restaurant. So I was thinking about something which was not the reality, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that eventually what happened is that the owner of the place told me a couple of times, man, change the direction. Your music it's not supposed to be played at this time of the day. Even at all, I don't think you need to play it here, you know.
You're throwing some bangers or people are just trying to have some dinner.
It was a weekend. It still was like a it's a dance club. It's not a club. It's still like a bar. It's more with tables.
It's like a restaurant. I know what you're talking about. I played at a lot of those. Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. So I was.
You gotta come in with some with some house.
Yeah,
some
especially the owner, the place called kibbutz. So in Hebrew it means a village. This is how it translated to English, but the owner was there, and I know that his intent of the whole place was to create an environment of a village, very relaxed environment, not a banging EDM kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I came with really inspiring music. I brought all the hardware stuff, or
I was gonna say you're wearing hardware on.
Yeah, man, I brought all the hardware. He's a very, very known DJ for producing bangers, like music that is played in festival. Yeah, big room music, exactly.
Is what his music is really defined as, like big room.
Yeah, it's meant to be played in a big venue, not in a small.
You were playing big room in a small room.
No, so he actually it's so funny, but yeah, the room was big, but the music was bigger. But yeah, I kept the hardware stuff and all the W&W stuff to the end of the show. I knew that I'm gonna play it. I thought I'm gonna play it. But of course I had some more relaxed stuff going on before that. But that was very energetic enough to let the owner notice me and tell me, man, slow down. It's too much. It's not, man, just do something. And I was not able to do anything because I was prepared to play a banging set. I came from home ready.
I came ready to fuck it up, okay, dude? I've been thinking this in my head the whole time. I was going to be throwing it down.
Yeah.
My hands were going to be up in the air.
Man, exactly like that. I was sure. I didn't done my homework before. I never checked about this place. I just thought maybe, man, this is the biggest, the biggest opportunity. So with this intent, I went all the way till this place, and it's so funny. I don't know if it will be possible to attach the photo. I actually drove with a scooter and with the CDJ.
Yeah, we'll get the photo up.
It's crazy, man. It's so dangerous just to think about that. And I drove all the way from my home to this place.
With the scooter attached to the car?
No, the CDJ, the equipment was just in between my legs. I was driving on the scooter, holding it with my legs and trying to balance it. And it was really hard, very challenging. I got to the place, but even just very important to mention that this equipment was supporting only an actual CDs. So the music that I brought with me, this is the only music that I had. And I brought only banging stuff, super, super energetic, very fast music. And the guy told me, man, just take your equipment and go home. And this is what happened. I went home, but I was not that frustrated. I was laughing at it, you know. I realized that I did a mistake. I realized it really, really fast. And I think this is what allowed me to continue. To understand that I did a mistake. I joked, I laughed about it. I understood that I make something not good at all. And still, it's okay. It's part of the game, you know.
Yeah. 100%.
I got from this guy. I got other opportunities after that.
Because he was like, let me just keep the bangers for this guy right here.
Yeah,
so he was like, he understood that you're the banger guy. Like,
exactly. He sent me to a lot of places. He gave me a lot of feedback. He gave me direction. He gave me a lot of new music. It was new for me, but it actual music that was existing before, for me it was new because I was so much focused on the EDM world.
Yeah.
On the club music and not on like other kind of music.
Well, I mean, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Because since I met you way back, it was like some trancey music type stuff. And then when I broke out as a solo artist, I started to kind of get swallowed back into the whole pop, hip hop vibes because I don't know. It was just sort of like, it's not like a obvious intent. It was just, it's all very subconscious. Like 1 second you're super into this genre, and the next thing you know you're just drifting away, and then you start to listen to this other stuff, and then 6 months go by, and then you like randomly pick up on a different genre. Where do you feel like you're at now? Like, would you put like a genre to your type of music, or would you put just like a certain vibe?
So basically a certain vibe, and because vibe is something that I can describe. Vibe is something that I think this is stuff that I'm influenced from, so I can put it together, especially with the skills that I acquired during all these years. So now I can go back, find stuff that I loved, combine it, and make something new from it. And it's easier instead of trying to copy somebody else, which is not effective enough, because there is original version of it, and you copying it will be just a copy of it. So better to stick to yourself and do the stuff that is subconscious, like you said, even unconscious, because subconscious is underneath. So it's I prefer to call it unconscious. And just stick to yourself. I mean, stick to what you love, and if you're practicing enough, you will have the skill to do something with that.
Yeah.
This is good enough.
They've been able to test this in many studies where you do anything on purpose consciously, and then in an unconscious manner, your brain is going, because you've done it so many times, is going to sort of kickstart it without you even trying to. So that's why you can notice that anytime you start something new and you're doing it a lot, notice yourself when you're not doing it and you walk away from it, you're still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because that's your subconscious just like not done with it. Your subconscious is still like keeping it going.
Yep.
And in essence, you're still practicing for when you're not. Because if you keep thinking about it, you've been able to prove it, that you're actually turning on the same parts of the brains as when you're actually doing that thing.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about here for a second in regards to sacrifice, because I feel like that is, no matter which route you take as an artist, I'm a believer that you are not going to get to that place that you want to get unless you sacrifice something great.
Yeah.
Could be all kinds of things. There's no specific thing for any specific person, but for you, what do you think have been the sacrifices that like you have to like experience and overcome to get to like where you are now?
So sacrificing everything, man. It's like, it's basically redirecting your focus, like redirecting your attention, because you can spend it. I mean, not as much, but you still have a limited amount of energy every day, but you can spend it the way you want to spend it. And we are very habitual. We are doing the same stuff over and over and over. We sometimes even don't notice that. So it's easy to put your attention into something which which will not help you to go the direction that you want to go to. So sacrificing, it's basically like redirecting. So I think we just do it every day. So it can be in everything. It can be with about going out with friends. It can be, it's important to do it, but still you need to redirect yourself all the time and see how is your schedule. If you've done all the stuff that you had to do, or if you need to do something else, and then decide, do I want to put my energy into that or go out with my friends? But basically you get better at that, at redirecting yourself.
Because it is tough in the beginning, right?
It is,
Like, you can probably attest to this, but I'm a pretty intense person. Like when I decide to like go after a certain goal, I'm like the kind of person who's like tunnel vision. I go all in and I make a decision very quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm ignorant about it. It's just because I know what I want. And so when I found out about that I wanted to devote my life towards music and being an artist and playing and making, you know, all kinds of art, I was like, fuck everything else.
Yeah.
This is all I care about. And it made sense because I got pretty good pretty fast. That being said, I did end up losing out. I did end up losing several relationships. I neglected other areas of my life, like health in some cases. Taking care of some of the basics when it came down to just your life.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's the balance, right? Like that's the balance that like you have to go through as in this case as an artist, but in any situation as just a human being, if you're trying to do anything on your own, is push for what you still want as your goal. But I guess don't kill yourself trying to do it.
Absolutely. It's a lot of energy that we have, and we can easily destroy ourselves with it, or we can easily build ourselves with it. It's hard. I believe it's like a muscle. I mean, if you practice it, you do it enough times,
You get better.
You become better at that, and eventually the feedback that you are getting back from anything, basically, if you put or do something, you will get any feedback that coming back to you. I don't know from where it comes from, but eventually something will happen.
Yeah.
And at certain point, that will be so big and so impactful, so it will boost you and will give you more energy, and that you will use to create other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think, it's just being aware of that you have the energy and you can do whatever you want with it, and just do it over and over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel like doing it, you don't need to press on yourself. And if you feel tired, you need to relax.
Yeah.
And this is hard because it's hard to say no. It's very hard, but it's part of the game.
Yeah, you gotta learn the flow. And I mean, it's important to learn how to turn that on. Like there is such a thing, and like I've come to find out, where like you turn it on, where you're like you turn on the vibes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You turn on now hanging out with the friends, and then you go back to, so now you turn it back on. And so, shoot, I'm sure we experienced that when we were making, because we just put out a track together not too long ago.
Absolutely, yeah.
Merlo. Cheers to that.
Cheers, my man.
I'm gonna get some Merlot up in this bitch right now. And so, I mean, you tell me, like, what was that experience like for you? Because I hadn't actually collaborated with anybody for a while up until that song, and fuck, that was a banger.
Absolutely, man.
Absolute banger.
It was a banger, and like you said, it happened really fast because the first day that we met in the studio, we made a song, and then we said, okay, let's do another one. We was not that we attached to the song. No, we knew that we are doing the right thing. We do what we love, and let's just do it because this is it. Eventually, after 3 or 2 days, we came up with Merlo. I mean, the song was there.
Each day we made like 2 or 3 ideas.
Yeah.
By the time Merlo came, we had over like 6 ideas or something like
exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually have them all in my computer. So like 5 or 6 songs, and then the song came. Yeah. It was like starting doing the thing. We done it. We enjoyed the process, and then that's what happened. Yeah, and we made a lot of music after that.
Yeah,
it was a cool experience. It's a cool song. I'm sure people are enjoying it till now.
Are actually, yeah. Like I've had a few people say that's their favorite song that I
released.
That's
so dope, man.
And so for because it was super dope having you like in Vegas, because I was in Vegas at the time, and so we had you come out. We shot the video there. I think you were there for like, what, 24 hours? Yeah,
I stayed for like 24 hours,
so
exactly,
You flew in. As soon as you got there, we started fucking setting the vibes on point. I mean, so for people that don't know, for the Merlo music video that you can go check out, Lucas Morais and Samuel Merlo official music video. Look at all the different shots. All of those shots were set up by us. Like, there was no crew behind that. Like, we were the crew. And so the lighting, the shooting, the
directing,
every single thing was done by us. And I mean, we had a couple of friends with us helping us. But yeah, it takes like a team of people to put the shit together. And if you're coming in with the independent vibes, you don't always have the resources to just have a full crew that's been trained doing this as a living. You know what I mean? Like, that's a budget right there. And so, I mean, tell us, you know, we're coming up here to the top of the hour, but we're going to be, you know, for the people who don't know, we're going to be coming out with some more music together in the future.
Absolutely,
so
we will.
That's not the last one. So we got some more cooking up for you guys. But what's your next track coming out right now? Did you have one that just came out?
I have one which is released last month called Genesis.
Dope.
It's a very nice track. It's a unique sound that I came up with, in influence from other genres.
Do you have your phone on you?
Yeah, I do. It's in the room.
Okay.
Want me to grab it?
Grab it, because if you can pull up your Bluetooth, we can play a little bit of the song right here.
Okay.
Yeah. If you think you can do it quick, yeah. So yeah, just pull up your Spotify and then pull up your Bluetooth. Okay. And then show me what the results come up as. It's the Rodecaster Pro right here. Okay. Boom. You're paired. So now go ahead and play it. Hold up. Let me get this. Okay. So here we go, guys. A little sneak peek. Semio. Genesis. Guys, a little sneak peek. You can get the full track at
Semio at Spotify or YouTube, Semio Music, or Apple Music, Semio.
Perfect. Dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure, man.
It was amazing. Thank you very much.
And so there you have it, folks. Another amazing episode by Appropriate Culture. You can catch the full episode at appropriateculture.com. You can also catch us on the streaming platforms. Just go ahead and Audible, Spotify, all that good stuff. Just search Appropriate Culture. And aside from that, you can even find us on places like TikTok. And all you got to search is Appropriate Culture. So, fantastic. We'll see you guys next episode. Take it easy. Thanks for watching this episode from Appropriate Culture. If you want to watch other episodes, make sure to make your way to appropriateculture.com. You can also hang out with us in other social media platforms. They're all in the link in the description. And aside from that, if you want to listen to the podcast on other platforms like Audible, Spotify, any of those, you can also find us there as well. Link in the description. Take it easy, guys. Have a good day.